Hey guys, today we got a little more information on the Dark Below, and there's quite a few big game-changing features coming. This is official from Bungie, not data mine stuff, also a couple of things from Game Informer's preview. First off, there will be new legendary gear. Existing legendary gear on display in the tower will be replaced. New legendary gear will feature higher attack and defense values, but still require Ascendant materials to upgrade, so hang on to those materials. The new, more powerful gear will be available to all players of Destiny. You won't need the expansion to buy the new gear. And as usual, this new legendary gear will not be as powerful as the new raid gear. However, to purchase this new gear, you will now need, in addition to what you already needed, a Crucible or Vanguard Commendation, which are received in reputation reward packages whenever you level up your faction. I don't know if you'll just get one commendation or multiple per package. We need to find out. Now, as you all saw, exotics have their upgrade path altered a bit. They no longer require Ascendant materials to upgrade. All they need is one exotic shard for the final upgrade. Exotic shards come from dismantling exotics or buying them from Xur for 7 strange coins. But now, with the Dark Below, you'll be able to upgrade your current exotics to the level of Dark Below exotics by buying the upgrade from Xur. Starting with the expansion, Xur will offer upgrades on a random but large assortment of gear, where you'll be able to buy the upgrade for your weapon or armor. He'll offer 6 armor and 6 weapon options at a time. Upgrading an exotic in this way requires an exotic shard and a hefty amount of glimmer, reports were 7,000. However, should you choose to upgrade, the progression on the item will be completely reset, and you'll need to level it again. You won't need to have the weapon fully upgraded in order to start the next upgrade from Xur. I'm not too thrilled about having to re-level my exotics. I definitely would like to see an option where you can spend a lot more exotic shards, like 10 shards or something like that, to keep your experience, or at least have it go faster than before. But I understand why Bungie did it. The people with 10 or more exotics to their name are in the minority. The majority of people don't have a huge exotic arsenal to their name. This also gives people something to work on over the expansion, and it prevents people from just getting instant power. It's a big choice you have to make. Do I keep my now weaker exotic, or do I start over, but in the end, it will be stronger? I'm not happy about having to re-level, but I understand why it happened. As an MMO player, I am very used to this happening. I get the best armor and the best weapons in the game, and then what? New expansion, and now my best gear is outperformed by green items. It's just something that comes with the territory of an investment game. At least in Destiny, we have the option of taking the best stuff with us into the next expansion. Imagine if all of your exotics were now obsolete and replaced. That wouldn't feel too very good now, would it? The armor you have now will still serve you well in the expansion because the level cap is only increased by 2, but obviously, you're gonna want to upgrade when you can. This is just the nature of an investment game. Here are my suggestions for upgrading exotics in the Dark Below. Example 1. If you have a weapon fully upgraded and you turn it into Xur to be upgraded, it should gain experience at 2 times the rate that it normally does. Halfway upgraded should be 1.5 times the rate, and no upgrades should be the normal experience rate, with any other sense of progression formatted in a similar way. Quarter of the way would be 1.25, 75% of the way would be 1.75, etc. This way, if you spent the time upgrading already, you'll have to do it again, sure, but it'll be much faster. Another suggestion I had was that if you spent more shards, your weapon would come with more experience on it. For example, if you use 1 shard to upgrade your weapon, it'll just be upgraded as normal and you'll have to re-level. Each shard you spend on the same weapon after that first would give you 25,000 experience, so if you had a lot of shards on you, you could just power level your exotic. I think the numbers might need some tuning on that last suggestion, but you guys see what I mean. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Crucible will have 2 new exclusive competitive playlists, meaning you need the expansion to play them. They didn't say what these new game modes were, but from this picture, that icon kind of looks like it has a tiny skull on it. Perhaps it's a hardcore version of game modes we have now, which would feature no radar or something. The new maps will be thrown into rotation with playlists available changing from week to week. Experiences will alternate between 12 and 6-player engagements, I assume that to mean 6v6 and 3v3, and map rotation will alternate between focusing solely on the new maps and including original maps into the mix. PvE changes are coming to the Nightfall and the Raid. First up, Heroics and Nightfalls will be increased by 2 levels since the light cap is now level 32. Remember that there will be new ways to hit level 30 without having to run Vault of Glass in the Dark Below, so if you're not level 30 just yet, do not worry. Next, the Raid. The Raid will unlock immediately on the 9th upon the release of the expansion, although I'm still thinking that you'll need to do the story missions and the strike before unlocking it. You'll probably need to do that whole big Eris quest line. How about loot? Well, Bungie has heard our cries of RNG, therefore raid loot in Crota's End will drop at a higher rate, so you'll hopefully see less energy and shard-only drops. New raid gear will contain a wider variety of potential perks. I like that. Weapons and gear from Crota's End will not require Ascendant materials to upgrade, but will instead require Radiant Shards and Radiant Energy, which will drop from the raid, will be obtained when you dismantle raid gear, and supposedly you'll be able to trade shards for energy or energy for shards with Eris. Primary weapons will only drop from the hard mode now, which will be released in January, so not right away. This is probably to avoid the debacle that was Vault of Glass in regards to exploits. They want to make sure that there's no exploitable ways to kill these bosses, which I am totally fine with. Also remember that it is totally possible, according to data mined information, that the hard mode for Crota's End will be level 33, not level 32, which gives players a chance to gear up first, something I'm also very happy about because I didn't want to bash my head against a wall because I'm underleveled. More PvE additions. According to Game Informer's preview into the Dark Below, story missions and strikes introduce new gameplay mechanics. For example, one of the mechanics, I assume to be a skull modifier like Light Switch or Angry, was called a Dark Burden, where you couldn't use your vertical movement mode during a certain fight. Another modifier was in a story mission which places damaging zones on the ground, so you'd need to navigate more carefully. I love this addition to the game. I'm very glad to see more complex mechanics being put into places other than the raid. That is what I have for you guys on the Dark Below. I will be going to PlayStation Experience this weekend to try to dig up some dirt on the new expansion. I will see what I can find out for all of you. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.